You know, as we mentioned, people know Mozilla as really the organization behind Firefox. What are the vulnerabilities, though, that Mythos actually identified?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of them. A lot of them had to do with being able to break out of the browser itself and actually execute code on your machine. So like actually having JavaScript or HTML come in and like just load it from a web page and instruct the browser to go do other things. So Mythos has been very helpful for us to actually find some of these really long-standing old bugs and actually help us shut them down.
But what I noticed in the blog post that your team wrote about this was that, quote, they wrote, quote, we also haven't seen any bugs that couldn't have been found by an elite human researcher. So is it as powerful as everybody says it is? If a actual human being could have identified these things?
Yeah, no, I mean, there's just a question of just like how many elite human researchers are there in the grand scheme of things. So like, yeah, these models are pretty powerful and they're allowing us to do what like thousands of these researchers could do instead of just like 6 of them.
So would you have been able to identify these with your own team?
We have a really good team.
Okay.
I think in the fullness of time, yes.
Yeah.
But like allowing us to like rapidly accelerate and just close out a bunch of stuff that we didn't even know about.
So should we be freaked out about this tech?
Yes, I actually think we should be. I think we can we'll be getting to a world like once everything settles down where things could actually be more secure. But we're living in this like intermediary zone.
Is the reason why we should be scared because if Mythos is in the wrong hands, they could go to, your bank and say, okay, identify the vulnerabilities in, Raffi's account, and then they get access to your money.
The bank, the water company, the power company, like all the critical infrastructure of the world.
Yeah.
Like I actually have faith that like internet folks will figure this out. Like we're used to patching things and deploying at scale, like Heartbleed when SSL had problems.
Yeah.
But I don't think my bank knows how to do it. Like you said, I don't think my power company knows how to do it. Those are like the other pieces of critical infrastructure that I'm really worried about.
I mean, you're CTO. You should tell those CTO, okay?
So there are things that are happening. Why isn't it happening more? Or is it, and where they're being caught, or what? Like, give us an idea.
Yeah, no, I think we need to have actually a real large scale, like Y2K-like effort to actually start closing a bunch of these critical vulnerabilities. And, many kudos to what Anthropic is doing, but we need to give access to more people. Like we need to get access to all the open source providers. We need to get access to all the database providers. And then we need to fund them to actually start doing the work. So not only do we need to clean the bugs up, but then we also need to start thinking about mitigation. Like this is actually a large scale. Look, think about how much work we did for Y2K.
Right.
Boards got involved, governments got involved, insurance got involved. We haven't kicked all those in yet.
Why aren't we doing that yet? Because this is moving so fast. Is that it?
That's exactly the problem. I think this is just moving so fast. Like Mythos was only really given to us in the winter time. It's only been a couple of months.
Yeah.
But the real question is that open models are catching up. So I think it's only 6 to 9 to 12 months when all the open models can start doing what Mythos are doing. So we only actually have a small window of time.
So then how do we get to a point where, if you're sitting here with us a year from now, Mythos is going to be old news.
Yep.
There's going to be some sort of next model that is just that much better. How are you going to be sure that it's a company that's, quote unquote, responsible behind it? Like many would say Anthropic is being with this rollout, maybe too responsible in your view. But how do you make sure that it's not a bad actor who has this tech?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think this is actually where some government intervention might not be a bad thing. Like actually making sure that we put the right investment into actually getting these things shown, deployed exactly to the right people.
Have you been to the post office?
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, we do need to do all this work across all the efforts. We need to secure that post office too.
I don't disagree with you, but I think there are many people out there who say this could be something that maybe the free market would solve more efficiently than government bureaucracy.
Yeah.
You have experience in government, sort of. So
no, 100%. I mean,
in politics, you have experience.
I think the real problem is that public sector infrastructure is not treated in the same way. Mm-hmm. And so, we're going to need to figure out how to do the real investment there. Okay. That I don't think is purely just maybe a public-private partnership solves that, but I don't think that's purely a market problem.
Raffi, you were the first CTO of the DNC, the Democratic National Committee. Politics today, we see the impact social media.
Yep.
Some good, some bad.
Sure.
On politics, what about AI?
No, I mean, I think about this a lot. We're living in this world where we're owners, not renters, on all this technology. just think about your search experience. It used to be 10 blue links on Google, and now it's one result when I ask a chatbot, and it's a right result for somebody. Like, is it the right result for me?
Right.
So I really worry about this world where we're like living in someone else's intelligence all the time. What does that actually do and how we think, how we decide, how we buy, all those kind of things?
Can we actually get ahead of that and be better with it?
I mean, this is where I really think we need to figure out how to do open deployments and open governance. Like right now, the incentive models are just such that, like there was a whole study based out of, I think, University of Maryland, where they just asked a bunch of these chatbots to help you buy something, and they were vastly weighted toward sponsored and promoted goods. So like, how do we make sure that they're really on my side? I need to be able to go into it, understand it, tweak it, work with it, as opposed to just being delivered it. So we need to start working on those kind of questions now.
You were talking a little bit about your family earlier, and I'm just wondering how you, as a CTO and somebody who understands this technology and the potential downfall and pitfalls of it, rather, you sort of have that diet, that information technology diet.
I mean, can I tell you the pros and cons?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Like, my 10-year-old is vibe coding video games. Like, they're actually
cool.
Unbelievable. Cute and stinky productions. They're like, it's like the best thing ever. And so it's an expression of creativity. My 13-year-old, I got a phone call from a teacher saying, I think you used ChatGPT to cheat on an essay.
Yeah.
So like, we do need to figure out like how we actually treat people. How do we teach critical thinking? Like, that's the thing that's still missing. And that's the thing I think we need to really home in on. It's less about the tools, it's about that critical
So how do you
thinking.
do it then?
I think it's asking real questions. I think it's having lots of conversation. You know, the Pope is encyclical called it fasting from AI.
Yeah.
So like, we just need to figure out a way, like we need to teach this new tech, but we also need to just monitor and help them like do productive struggle.
We're being told we have one more question with you, and it's Twitter or Uber.
It's Uber.
So go.
Yeah,
I'm
it's Uber.
gonna say Tim's got to ask.
Yeah, I mean, you were
Which
at Uber's advanced technology department. This was like the precursor to self-driving cars.
Yep.
This department was killed a few years ago. The promise was that you would have driverless cars at Uber. The technology as it is today, I mean, you walk outside of here, there are Waymos going everywhere. Not really in New York City at this point.
Sure.
Where are we when it comes to just getting into a car and it taking us where we need to go and there's no steering wheel?
I mean, it turns out to be a really hard problem. This is one of the things we learned, right? It turns out to be a really hard problem to do generalized self-driving. Like to be able to drive anywhere, under any condition, under any situation. Like a city-by-city basis, it seems to be working out. Like Waymos are pretty good. You know, I recently crashed my Tesla under full self-driving.
You did?
I did. So like the
Wow.
Teslas clearly have problems. We slammed into the wall at like 30 miles an hour.
Oh my God.
And so like there are clearly still problems with all this technology. But
That doesn't sound like full self-driving.
it doesn't sound like full self-driving. I totally think that the Tesla technology is not quite ready yet, whereas Waymo has been designed to literally not have a person in the wheel. Like the whole human-in-the-loop version of self-driving, I think is not the right path that we should be going on, and we should be thinking about just like actually tackling the real problem head on.
20 seconds left. What's the question we should all be asking ourselves in this environment today?
Yeah, I mean, the question is like, how do we make sure all these technologies we're deploying are actually on our side, not on someone else's side? Like, I want to live in a world of 7 billion AGIs, not 7 AGIs. How do we get there?
Really interesting.